Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of Brave Briefings, where brave men and women share either their stories or on how we can live safe and peaceful, devoured of harassment and sexual and gender-based violence. Are you brave? Hi, I am Lois, your friend for forgiveness from Walking Without Skin. And today I have another brave woman with me. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Lois. Thank you for having me on. I'm looking forward to this.
Great. I'm very pleased that you've joined us. Christine, would you like to tell our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Sure, no worries. Okay, so I'm Christine, and my business is Habit Breaker. And Habit Breaker is born so that we can relieve ourselves from unhealthy habits that don't serve us, whether or not that's things like alcohol, drugs, relationships, which is why I got in touch with you, Lois, about this wonderful movement that you're doing, because it's about breaking bad, unhealthy habits and patterns. And one of mine was being in toxic relationships, and that's also part of my childhood as well. I saw it within the household that I grew up in. So yeah, I was like, yeah, I'll come and speak on your wonderful show. So that's a little bit about what we do at Habit Breaker. We free you from these unhealthy choices, regardless of what they may be. We take you through a reframing program, and that's what we do. So over in the UK, but obviously we're global. We do work globally.
That's such a fantastic service because we all have toxic and bad habits that we need to
Mm.
break free from. So wow, that's brilliant. So brave. What makes you brave, Christine?
What makes me brave? Wow. If I was to answer that truthfully, I would say owning my story, owning my responsibilities, not shirking away from them, and actually learning the art of forgiveness, Lois. That was massive for me. That helped me move forwards in so many ways. So yeah, I'd say the bravest thing I've done for myself, which has freed me up in a whole host of many other aspects, is forgiveness, not just to me, not just for myself, but others who may have served me um, wrong or have done some injustice to me. And also realizing there's a reason why they did that, and understanding that. And again, it's breaking those cycles of, okay, well, why did that person do what they did? Is it because they've learned it from something in their childhood? Is it, so it's carried on through the hierarchy of family and things like that. So I think it's understanding, learning the art of forgiveness. That is one of the biggest things. I got asked this the other week about doing a quote to go in a book, and it was learning the art of forgiveness is huge. Once you master that, I think the doors of opportunity for yourself just open unbelievably. And it might be just the smallest of things. It might not be, big, you're wanting big global impacts and things like that. It might be, hey, I can open the door and go out and not worry about what people think, or, it's a huge thing for me. So I'm brave because I've learned to forgive myself, Lois.
Well, I have to build the F of forgiveness into into this acronym. So maybe that I've called it Brave Briefings. I'll have to add some more words, and the F of brief can be forgiveness.
Mm,
It is a very, very powerful thing to do, is to forgive. For me, it gave me complete freedom. So
yeah.
that's great. So back to the acronym of BRAVE. You wanted to speak about E. Tell us about what you want to say.
I did. I wanted to speak about E because it's about empowerment, and empathy and things like that. And it goes back to forgiveness for me. Because I learned the art of forgiveness, it meant that I could empower myself, to move forward, to make these to make these clean breaks, to find out who I am and why I am the way I am. And I think you know a little bit of my backstory. So if I was to just enlighten your viewers maybe, and the people that are watching and listening to this, my backstory is that I was brought up in a household where toxic masculinity was present. My father was a very strict father, you know, and there was that fear element. And it wasn't unbeknown for him to expect his dinner, and the demands were there, you know, all things like that. He did what he did, and my mum had to deliver to make sure the household ran, the food was on the table, all things like that. So this is an area that I've seen in my childhood, thinking this, you know, it was quite normal to me. I didn't think anything different. And it wasn't until I had my sons and I'd been in relationships myself that I thought, actually, no, I'd expect my children to grow up as men, being able to be equal in a relationship. I wanted that equal, you know, that total equality between partnerships. So I made it imperative that I fed them that, you know, it's like, right, okay, you do have chores and you do cooking, and you know, we spoke about relationships, because obviously I've had numerous failed relationships, which was a habit and a pattern that I got into because I was connecting to the wrong types of males. I was going to father figures, and clearly I knew that didn't work because my mum and dad's relationship broke down, and I knew it was an unhealthy way to go into relationships. So the empowerment bit for me was crucial, that I empowered my boys, and gave them the education, the, you know, the understanding of this is how you are in a relationship. It's equal. And also another part of my backstory is that I was very seriously violated when I was 17 years old. And with that, I had to learn, that was the biggest thing, I had to learn the art of forgiveness to the perpetrator who did this such sexual act to me. And with that forgiveness and understanding, well, why did he believe that he could do that to my body? What gave him the right? Why was he, what justification did he have? So I answered all these questions in my head, and it led me to believe, you know, well, there's clearly something from his past or his childhood or his upbringing that he thinks whether or not it's his circle of friends or, you know, alcohol consumption and things like that. It's like, it doesn't matter. You have to know when no means no, and you do not violate anybody, regardless of sex, gender, orientation, anything like that. And I really had to dig deep and forgive myself and say, it wasn't your fault. You were not to blame. I had to forgive the people that were around me at the time who I didn't feel understood me. But then I also thought, you know what? They did the best they could for me at that time in their moment of their life. So again, it's the whole forgiveness thing, and obviously forgiving the perpetrator and thinking, right, okay, well, if I carry on living my life knowing that I have this guilt, that I have this angst and anger and rage, he's still going to control me regardless of it being 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years since the actual incident happened. And I think the empowerment thing came when I did have my boys. It was a real eye-opener. And, you know, we have a very open, honest relationship where no topic is not discussed in our household. It's anything goes, regardless of how cringeworthy it could be for me, you know, anything goes. And right, and when they first started at 14, 15 years old, getting a little bit like curious about girls and things like that, I was open with them. I told them about my journey. I told them about what happened to me. And I told them, we have to respect women, we have to respect girls' bodies, we have to respect everything about that. And likewise, at that time, I didn't know whether or not the sexual orientation thing, I've later found out that my son came to me and he says, Mum, I'm actually gay. So again, we've had the conversation about when he gets into a relationship with maybe a male partner or something like that, it's about respecting boundaries, forgiveness, honouring, all that. And I do believe the more that I empower my boys, they're going to then pass that down generationally, and it's just going to filter through, so that we do break this whole cycle of toxic masculinity. And I think again, going to your first, what makes you brave? I think owning my story is what I said, and being brave enough to tell my children, this is how it is. It doesn't have to be that way. We can stop this now. It stops at this line in the family history. It stops here, and we can make changes there on in. And I think that was really quite powerful for me to see.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story so vulnerably.
Mm.
Been through a lot, but isn't it wonderful to come out strong on the other side? So,
Absolutely, and I'm a massive believer, and throughout all the trauma, or whatever you may wish to call it, I do actually believe that I was here to put on this earth to make a difference. And whether or not that's me doing what I'm doing now and helping others, or whether or not that was me, my role, just playing mother hen and teaching a new complete mindset to the children, to my boys, so that they can then pass that down to their children, to their partners. And I do see it as a blessing. There's nothing that I've gone through in my life that I would actually change. I'd be like, right, okay. And that makes, and again, it's the personal growth. It's the ambition now that I have to make changes and to make sure that they are filtered through. Because I think once more people master their story, and learn the art of forgiveness and change, you become indestructible. You become very, very powerful. And I find it a complete blessing. Complete blessing.
well, thank you, Christine.
You're
So,
welcome.
you too can be brave like Christine and like many, many others. And let's together be brave and to fight the scourge of this silent pandemic. So you can contact Christine. We'll put her detail below this video, or you can contact me at Walking Without Skin. So do join us. Be bold, be brave, and fly free.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Lois. Thank you for having me on. It's
Thank
been
you,
a pleasure.
thank you, Christine, for joining us. Bye, everyone, and join us for another Brave Briefings tomorrow. Bye.